Hey, good afternoon. This, my friends, is day 60. We're moving towards 70. We have less than 60 days to go. Today, let's talk about something different. I know you've heard the saying, who you are makes a difference. It really does. Each one of us makes it different. Life would not be the same without us. Today, I'm going to talk about the butterfly effect. Now, I need to set this up so y'all stay with me because you're going to figure out how you are making a difference. In 1963, a young college PhD student by the name of Edward Lorenz went for his PhD and presented an idea that there was such a thing as a butterfly effect, meaning a butterfly could flutter its wings on one side of the world and move molecules that would move molecules that would move molecules, and on the other side of the planet, it could potentially cause a hurricane. Well, they laughed him out of the room. That was in 63. But by the 1990s, they had come up with, well, wait a minute. Maybe that young man had something. And they said, the butterfly effect works like a law of sensitive response upon initial conditions. And that's where you come in. Whatever you do will have a response upon other conditions. So let me show you how this butterfly works in real life. Peter Jennings, you all remember him. He used to have a Person of the Week on TV. Well, one year he highlighted a guy named Norman Borlaug, as he was a Nobel Peace Prize winner. And Norman Borlaug, you probably never heard of him, but he is credited with saving the lives of over 2 billion people. And he did this through scientific harvesting of wheat and corn. Well, the truth of the matter is, people don't know who Norman Borlaug is. Back in the day of Roosevelt had a vice president with the last name of Wallace. Well, Mr. Wallace was the son of a college professor. And when Mr. Wallace was a little boy, like 5 or 6 years old, there was a young college student that went to this university, and the college professor would let his son go out with this college student. The college student was George Washington Carver. Well, George Washington Carver, who created 286 ways to use peanuts and 88 ways to use sweet potatoes, he instilled in young Mr. Wallace a love for the growing of plants. So Wallace became Secretary of Agriculture and created a farm. Now, he did this years ago when he was working under Roosevelt in New Mexico, how to treat and harvest corn and wheat so that they could feed a lot of people and grow it in arid conditions. Let's take a step back. Borlaug got the Nobel Peace Prize, but Wallace hired Borlaug and taught him all he knew about how to grow this corn and this wheat. And Wallace, that bug was nurtured in him by George Washington Carver. Well, we all know about George Washington Carver, but do you know about Moses Carver? Well, Moses Carver lived in Missouri, and he had a wife named Mary. Now, Missouri was a slave state, but Moses and Mary didn't believe in slavery, and they had a woman that worked for him by the name of, Moses and his wife Susan. They had a woman that worked for him by the name of Mary, and Mary had just given birth to a baby. And one night, Quantrill's raiders came through there, and they burned and they killed and they did a lot of things. And they snatched up Mary and took her. And Mary refused to let go of this infant child that she had. And they drugged Mary off and they killed her. Well, Susan was so distraught, Moses said, I've got to do something. So he sent out word that he needed to get in touch with Quantrill's raiders. He needed to do whatever he could to get the baby back. And so sure enough, they told him where he could meet up with Quantrill's raiders. Well, Moses took a horse, and in the middle of the winter and in the middle of the night, he rode off to meet Quantrill's raiders. He gets out there, and there are 4 of those raiders, and he bargains and gives them his best horse if they would give him that infant child. One of the raiders pulled a burlap sack over his shoulder and hurled it at Moses. And then when Moses caught this sack, inside of it was an almost dead baby boy, naked and very cold. And that was George Washington. Well, Moses took that infant and put him under his arm inside of his jacket. And he rode all night long till he got back to his farm. And on the way back to the farm, he was talking to this infant frozen baby. And he said, if you live, I will raise you as my own. I will educate you. I will give you my name. I will do whatever it takes to support you. Well, that infant was George Washington. Sure enough, Moses held true to his word. He educated that young man and gave him his name, and he became George Washington Carver. And George Washington Carver was a brilliant young mind who influenced Mr. Wallace, who became the Secretary of Agriculture, who influenced Mr. Borlaug. And Mr. Borlaug got the Nobel Peace Prize. That's how the butterfly effect works, where who really earned that Nobel Peace Prize? Was it Borlaug? Was it Mr. Wallace? Or was it a young college student, George Washington Carver? Or maybe it was Moses Carver who rescued George Washington from Quantrill's raiders. Or maybe it was the merciful raider that gave up the almost dead, half-frozen little baby. Well, that's the butterfly effect. So I'm saying that to say this: each one of us has wings. Each one of us has an opportunity to make a difference in someone's life. And as you make a difference in one person's life, they will go out and make a difference in someone else's life, and they will go out and make a difference in someone else's life. And pretty soon, someone that you influenced someone else that went on to do great and miraculous things. Who you are makes a difference. And when you don't live up to your potential and do all that you can do to be the best you possible, you deprive all of us, each one of us. That's why I'm here today. You see, it's upon me to use my gifts to do what I do. It's upon each one of us to use our gifts. I don't care what your gift is. If it's raising children, raise children. If it's raising plants, raise plants. But never think for a moment that you don't matter. You absolutely matter. You definitely matter to me. I am so grateful to know each one of you. I'm so grateful for you to be part of my journey as I move towards 70, because I have made a commitment that when I flutter my butterfly wings, I want to make a difference in the life of my children, my grandchildren, and they will make a difference in the lives of their children and their grandchildren. It's called a legacy. Each one of us has a legacy. Each one of us will create a legacy. What it looks like is definitely up to you. So I'm getting ready to go out with my husband. We're going grocery shopping. I know I'm dressed up. But you know why? Because when I smile at someone today, I am going to make a difference. Einstein said it best. Either it's all a miracle or nothing is a miracle. I believe that life is a miracle. I believe your life is a miracle. Go out and prove me right. Have a magical day. I love you, Kelly. I love you, God, baby. I love you, my sister-in-law. I love you, Amy, Missouri Hatch, my good old friend, Morris Cunningham. And tomorrow, y'all come back here, and I'm going to teach you a lesson. It's about the grace of falling down. There's an art to it. Y'all come back, you hear? This is day 60. I got up and did my 2-mile walk. I closed the week out with over 24 miles. Yes. Yeah, go ahead. I closed out the week with over 24 miles. And that's the first time ever in my life. So thank you for being the wind beneath my wings, holding me accountable, and just being there. I love you. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Take care.